Oh, a new visitor from the woods. Welcome. Are you a lost wanderer? Tired of a long journey? Then join me. Sit beside the fireplace and let me tell you some stories that may soothe your mood as you regain your strength. Are you all set? Good. Join me and let's travel to the region of Freljord, a secluded village of Amu, the home of the Brini tribe. To give you more context, the story is about a quiet Vestayan woman with a strong appetite for knowledge. She may be a bit misunderstood by her tribe, but she is definitely a caring person, always ready to help those in need. This is the story of Aurora, the witch between worlds. Somewhere in Freljord, there's a hidden village lurking in the land of Amu. They are part of a Vestayan tribe known as the Brini, a secluded tribe of rabbit-like, but mostly human. They remained isolated from other Vestayan tribes, causing their inherited magic to be more diluted. One fortunate day, a gifted child was born. Pale skin with a freckled face, blue eyes, and orange hair. Her name is Aurora. Aurora was born with the innate ability to interact much more closely with the spirit realm, making many friends that only she could see. Aurora's parents believed this to be just her wild imagination, but Aurora's great-aunt Havu encouraged her unique abilities and passions, allowing her to revel in her own company. Aurora continued to play with her imaginary friends, as the tribe calls them, letting the young girl be more connected to the spirit realm unintentionally. Slowly, Aurora started to believe what others were telling about her friends, that those creatures she saw were just part of her imagination. Aurora tried her best to alter her thinking, forcing herself to ignore them, but she could not just unsee these creatures roaming in their village. However, as Aurora grew up, she started to understand her ability more, realizing these so-called imaginary friends were actually spirits. It was puzzling at first for her, since a lot of questions arose, like why the rest of the Brini tribe cannot see the way that she can. But with the support from her great-aunt, Aurora sought the truth and figured only she had the special ability in their tribe to peer through the veil between the mortal and spiritual realms. Aurora was delighted with such a gift, and this could also be the anchor of her thirst for knowledge. Aurora wanted to know more, study these creatures, and trace their origins. Using this special, unique sight, Aurora meticulously documented and studied these spirits to help others understand the world as she saw it. Maybe having this ability meant she was destined for something, and only Aurora could unfold this mystery. Aurora spent most of her time researching and developing her studies, which could be the reason why now wears a pair of large circular glasses. Her usual outfit consists of a teal, wide-brimmed witch hat, a white fur-lined coat over a teal and white sleeveless tunic, teal shorts, and brown thigh-high open-toed leather boots. She has also been seen draped in a large, dark teal hooded winter cloak lined with beige fur. She carries a dark brown wooden wand with a brass-colored metal handle. Aurora grew up to be a smart lady, but others began to call her different titles due to her wardrobe and studies. One of those was the spirit researcher, but the most fitting one was the witch between worlds. These titles never bother Aurora one bit. Explaining her side would be impossible if she's the only one who has this unique ability. She remained committed and determined with her studies. Eventually, more spirits pop out, seemingly trying to communicate with her. While more and more spirits appeared before Aurora during her studies, she began to discover some that felt lost between the realms, disturbed by mortal affairs. For Aurora, everything finally makes sense now. These spirits are not just lurking around and trying to play with her. They are asking for help from the only individual who knows their presence. With the innate caring character in her, Aurora knew that this was her calling. there's a little bit of hesitation, mainly because Aurora was not aware of what's outside of their village. She was more nervous about navigating the foreign areas, but it has also opened the possibility of finding more answers out there. But even with uncertainty, Aurora mustered her courage and ventured outside of Amu, leaving her village for the first time, so she could further extend her research. Aurora wants to help these spirits return to the spirit realm, and she believes that maybe the answer is somewhere in Freljord. Her journey wouldn't be easy since different tribes occupy the land, and the majority of them have political feuds. And most importantly, the harsh environment will surely be the main problem for her. Aurora must be ready to stand firmly in her chosen journey. So far, her solo mission has been peaceful. Aurora ventured to the forest, hoping to find some fruits while carefully exploring the unknown territory. During her travel, Aurora encountered a particularly monstrous spirit in the shape of a twisted elk. Unlike the previous one she saw, this one was totally different. Aurora started to observe first, but the spirit immediately felt her presence. The spirit was feral and afraid, lashing out with blood-stained antlers. Aurora tried to calm him down, and surprisingly, the spirit listened to her. Aurora eventually managed to gain his trust, but her attempts to heal and help him always failed. The spirit may have trusted her as an ally, but boundaries were still clear. However, Aurora was still determined to help the elk spirit. She instead convinced the spirit to travel with her and used her powers to tuck him away in the spirit realm while she worked to unravel what was afflicting the elk spirit. The two sought through the forest, trying to find answers along the way. Their journey became more interesting as Aurora and the elk encountered more spirits, each more powerful than the other. They also sought help from known spirit walkers along the place, giving them opinions about their situation. It became like a pieces hunting game for Aurora, gaining different information as they tried to complete the puzzle. Unfortunately for them, not all pieces they gained were valuable. Some were just far off. Aurora remained optimistic in their journey, believing failure is part of research, and proving something is not a waste of time since it narrows their options. After encountering a number of powerful spirit walkers, shamans capable of communing with the spirit demigods of the Freljord, they were simply at a loss at how to help the elk spirit, and suggested that she sought out Uder, the Freljord's most powerful spirit walker. And so Aurora made their way to the said shaman. It didn't take long to reach his place, but you can also say the same thing with Aurora's visit. As soon as they set foot in Uder's place, he immediately recognized the immense power in Aurora's new friend. Aurora explained their situation, but it was instantly shut down. Uder knew that the fearsome elk spirit was simply too lost to commune. However, Uder instead urged Aurora to seek the demigods themselves for answers, believing it was not his place to intervene in this one. Aurora respected Uder's decision and still thanked him for his suggestion. With that, Aurora and the elk continued their journey, aiming to find the least hostile demigod to communicate with. Sometime between the founding of the Freljord and the present, Aurora ventured into Hearthhome, located in the Broken Mountain in eastern Freljord, also known as the Great Ram's Domain. And of course, her purpose was still finding a way to help her newfound elk spirit friend. The cave is humongous, indicating that the resident of the place is surely huge as well. It was a bit intimidating, but Aurora stayed true to herself, proceeding with clean intentions. Aurora politely entered the vicinity, and that's when she finally met Orn, the demigod of forging and craftsmanship. She then approached Orn, who's seemingly in the middle of forging. Aurora tried to talk with Orn, but he dismissed her instantly, claiming he was too busy to help. It has been a couple of rejections for Aurora in her journey, and even one of the demigods had the same response as well. However, Aurora won't take no for an answer this time. She is determined to win Ornn's attention, mainly because Ornn rejected her for a different reason. Others truly cannot help her since it's beyond their capability. But it's evident that the only reason that was stopping Ornn was his workload. This gave Aurora the impression that Ornn knows the answer. He just doesn't want to help. After their conversation, Aurora looked around the place, which was highly disorganized and messy. In that instant, an idea came to her mind. Aurora started cleaning the place, and Ornn still paid no attention to her. At first, Ornn thought that this was just a burst of energy and Aurora would eventually be tired. On the other hand, Aurora busied herself by tidying and organizing Hearthhome, finishing what she had started. Later on, her efforts did reach the demigod's approval, and Ornn was greatly pleased. Impressed by her efforts, Ornn apologized for his earlier brusqueness and began to answer Aurora's queries. Ornn revealed the location where Aurora could find information about her spirit friend, and he even revealed the name of the elk spirit. At long last, Aurora finally knows the name of her friend, Hasterer, a once powerful demigod who lost his identity and became a distorted shadow of his old self. Aurora was thankful for Ornn's help, and they became friends. As a gesture of their newfound friendship, Ornn forged a wand for Aurora, granting her the ability to create portals at will. Ornn may be a grumpy one, but Aurora managed to lighten up his mood, thus forming a warm bond between the two. Aurora eventually left Hearthhome to seek answers about Hasterer, but she often returns to visit her grumpy friend Ornn and reminisce about the past. Despite having vital information, it is still a long journey for Aurora and Hasterer. Everything started with simply researching spirits, and it snowballed into finding the reason behind a demigod's current distressed form. Aurora did not see this situation coming, but even though she didn't, she would probably still cross the same path. Aurora continues to study the spirits, fulfilling her desire to know more and help others. Do you think Aurora will be successful with her mission? Then you better stick around if you want more stories. That will be the end for now.